Hi everyone. Today's hot topic is the bergdahl swap, an extremely controversial topic. Our guest speaker today is capable of bringing a unique perspective to this topic. So, please greet this country's oldest undocumented alien, Frankenstein.
Thanks, Al. Good morning, everyone. General, it's time to put your phone away.
Sorry, Frank.
Okay. You're probably wondering what is this big lummox doing up here? Especially to talk about the bergdahl swap. Am I right?
That's not quite what I was thinking. But it's close.
Yes, me too.
Here's where I'm coming from. I remember not only the Second World War, but the First World War. So I'm qualified to speak on the treatment of POWs in those wars.
What has that got to do with bergdahl?
Are you insinuating that Sergeant Bergdahl should have been left behind? We don't do that.
No. I'm here to discuss the exchange. The so-called bergdahl swap. And in my mind, one has to consider the question of war.
Why does that matter?
What has war got to do with the swap?
The treatment prisoners of war is clearly defined by the Geneva Convention. But if you are not at war, then there are no so-called rules. Right, General?
Yes, I would agree with the basic premise.
So we're at war. What does it mean?
That is one of the questions. Are we at war? There's been no declaration of war. No congressional affirmation of war.
Declaration or not, we are at war.
Well, if that's the case, then releasing those 5 soldiers for repatriation is consistent with actions taken in previous conflicts, and would be considered a humanitarian gesture.
I don't think we are at war. We are not fighting a country, and when prisoners were set free to other countries, the expense of those prisoners was paid by the releasing country.
Very true. And in both World Wars prisoners were used as forced laborers. In World War II, many POWs were kept in forced labor for 3 years after the war ended.
So we're not at war, and there are no rules, but these men were released to Qatar, with the stipulation that they remain there for at least 1 year.
And no forced labor. Probably able to communicate with their old buddies in the Taliban. It seems like we made a bad deal.
Listen up, Bergdahl was sick. We don't leave our men behind. Yes, the price was too high. And yes, I believe these men will be back to fighting us as soon as they can, but
what else could we have done?
From what I have read, not much. Pakistan is still angry at us for the Bin Laden raid. So a rescue mission was out of the question.
I know for a fact there was a lot of pressure on this deal, because we are winding down our combat mission in Afghanistan.
So in the end we have what appears to be a bad deal, with terrorists free in a country that may or may not monitor them the way we would like.
I agree. We're in uncharted waters. It looks like we set the price too high.
5 for 1 is way too high. But what if the White House was hoping for some way to encourage moderate Taliban members to take the Afghan-led reconciliation process seriously?
I think we all agree. It's not war. So the rules of engagement have changed. And we must admit, we still don't have any idea on how to effectively fight this enemy.